Hey, I'm Chef Carlos with C&M, and today I'm going to be showing you how to break down a whole chicken, also known as fabricating. So the tools that we're going to need for our chicken fabrication, of course, we're going to need one cutting board, right? So this is going to be a key thing. We want a cutting board that is stabilized. So in this case, this cutting board here has some kind of rubber grips on it. So I want to make sure that I can move around, push on it. It's not going to move anywhere. That is key. You want to make sure whatever we're cutting is stabilized and it's not going to be moving on us. That's going to help us get better, cleaner cuts. Also, we're going to eliminate the chance of cutting ourselves too if it slips. So that is key as well. Big thing about any kind of fabrication in the kitchen, any kind of chicken proteins, this is a hazard. So you got to make sure with your gloves or without gloves what you're touching. Okay, making sure that I don't touch this chicken and I'm touching on everything else and I'm contaminating everything. Bacteria transfers. We are the #1 cause of foodborne illnesses, so we got to make sure that we are controlling what we're touching and handling with our bacteria from the chicken and making sure it is safe through the whole process of cutting it, from the package to cooking it all the way to the guests. Next things that you're going to need is also 2 knives, okay? Either just your chef knife, like we talked about the other video, where we could literally do anything with the chef knife. We could break it down. Also a very common tool that we use in the industry in the kitchen, this is called a boning knife. So it's a very thin blade, very flexible, so we could get into the joints, get cleaner cuts. You can see that a little bit skinnier, so more precise, more precision, okay? Then, of course, one whole chicken that we're going to be breaking down today. Second thing is, you notice I have a container underneath. This is going to be ice. We want to make sure any kind of protein, raw ingredient that we're working with, safety and sanitation, we want to make sure that we keep it on ice. We want to make sure that it is as cold as possible for safety and sanitation time-wise. So once we have all of our stations set up, ready to go, now it's time to cut the whole chicken, right? First things first, what we need to do, any kind of fabrication, we want to look at our product, what we're working with, chicken in this case. It could be a duck, it could be pork, beef. I want to see what's going on here. That's the most important thing, okay? Once we identify the parts of the chicken, so this part here is going to be, of course, the breast part, okay? We're going to have our 2 legs here. This is going to be our wings, right? Wing tips. We're going to turn it over, okay? People get mixed up all the time, and that's okay. We want to be able to identify. This is the back, okay? You can kind of feel it too. You're going to feel a lot of the backbones and everything, okay? This is going to be right here, the lower thighs, right? So here are 2 thighs, our 2 legs. Again, our two wings, okay? The last part I want to talk about is the oyster of the chicken. It's a very beautiful delicacy. I'm going to show you how to cut it. And that's going to be on the lower part of the chicken, okay? So here's the top part of the back. The oysters are located on the bottom half. We're going to use tip of the blade. We're going to cut the skin, scoring it, okay? Just like that. And then we're going to make a T. So between the 2 oysters, you can kind of feel it. We're going to cut down. This is just kind of a guide. So this separates my 2 pieces. Next step is we got to loosen up the joints. This is going to create windows so we can make cleaner cuts. We're going to use our fingers, hold the leg here, okay? You're going to feel the thigh, and we're going to just kind of put pressure and to relax the bones, okay? Next step is going to be extracting the oyster. So again, we're going to kind of feel it. I'm going to use my opposite hand to kind of, as a backbone, we're going to get my thumb, and we're going to just gently push in there, okay? And separate it. I can use my boning knife as well. There's a tendon right there. Yeah, and there we go. This is the oyster right here. So this little round, dark piece of meat. Now we're gonna turn it over, okay? Using the tip of the blade. So we're gonna just cut the skin first. Right here, there's that bone to the back of the rib cage, okay? Remember, we don't want to cut the oyster, so there's that oyster right there. So making sure that we tuck it back so it's not in the line of cutting the meat, okay? So we're going to get our knife and we're going to cut towards the back. We're going to maximize the meat, okay? And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Next step, we're going to separate the leg and thigh, okay? Again, we're going to relax the joints, okay? This has a fat line that's going to tell us exactly where to cut. Now we're going to get our knife right between and cut down, and that's it. Now we have our drum. Next up is we're gonna start taking off one of the chicken breasts with the wings, okay? And it's gonna be one piece. So we're gonna start from the neck here. So again, the neck, here's the lower half. Again, coming down here, scoring it all the way down. So again, we're gonna be just scraping across the bone, okay? Using gravity, gonna pull the chicken away. Okay, making my, okay, Pulling away, following that line, pulling away. There's that window that I was talking about, just like that, and then we're gonna follow through to the back, okay? This one's a little bit more tricky because we lost our counterbalance, we lost our counterweight, okay? So we gotta just be careful. Using a sharp knife is key, okay? So same thing. I'm gonna just score it on the bottom, okay? Same thing, we're gonna work from the lower half all the way to the wing. Now we're left with the chicken carcass. What do we do with it? Well, we're gonna make chicken stock one of the foundations of a kitchen. We're gonna use it for quite a bit. A very traditional thing that we'll show you in a different video. All right, back to the chicken breast. First things first is it's gonna have the chicken tenderloin, which is right underneath the chicken breast. So right here. A couple things what you could do is sometimes you could just peel it off, just like that. So there it is, just came off. Next step is we're gonna separate the wing from the breast, okay? So again, right now, I can see where the joint is. We're gonna kind of cut right here. I'm gonna feel it, and we're gonna make one cut down. Boom, okay. We're gonna come back to that. Now we're gonna look at our chicken breast. We're gonna see it. We're gonna see if there's any kind of tendons we gotta get rid of. There is, I can feel it. So we're gonna use our boning knife to cut any kind of pieces out. That could go for our stock, okay? Now we're gonna turn it over. You're gonna leave the skin on, so we wanna make sure it has a good ratio, skin ratio to the actual meat of the chicken. So we're gonna kinda push it down here. You can see I have quite a bit of extra skin. Don't really need it. We're gonna trim it up. All right, back to the chicken wing, okay? So we're gonna have 3 segments here. So we got the drum, we're gonna have the flat, and the wing tips. We're gonna make 2 cuts. So again, we could kinda open up the window if you need to, the joint, okay? Come over here, cut down. There we go, we have our drum, okay? Same thing over here. We're gonna separate the flat of the chicken wing from the wing tips. We're gonna come over here where the joint is, come down and cut. Now this piece goes into chicken stock, and now you have your drums and your flats, okay? And then a chicken tender, just like that. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Chef Carlos, and good luck out there in the kitchen.